Welcome, dear viewers. If you enjoy what you see and want to explore more of our captivating stories, please consider following our channel. Your support through subscribing, liking and commenting helps us bring you more incredible tales from history. The Legend of Cleopatra. The morning sun, it cast a golden light across the Nile, making Alexandria shimmer in fiery shades of red and sand. On the palace balcony stood Cleopatra, just 17, yet she carried herself with the grace and burden of a queen. Below her, the city was alive with the buzz of market stalls and the grandeur of the great library, all spread out like a chessboard. Born into a crumbling dynasty, Cleopatra belonged to a Greek family ruling over an Egyptian kingdom. Her father had left Egypt drowning in Roman debt before his demise, leaving the throne to Cleopatra and her 10-year-old brother Ptolemy XIII, whom custom forced her to marry. But, you see, power was never truly theirs. Cleopatra, sharper than the jewelled dagger at her waist, spoke 9 languages, could quote Aristotle and Homer, and more importantly, she could read men's hearts. She understood the court all too well. Alliances built on flattery, betrayals hidden behind smiles, and power traded in whispers. The moment her father was buried, the court turned against her. One by one, her allies vanished, exiled, poisoned, or killed. Eventually, Cleopatra was driven out of the palace, exiled to the edge of Egypt with only a handful of loyal followers. But exile, it wasn't defeat. She spent months in the desert, watching, waiting, learning. Egypt was bleeding, and Rome hovered like a vulture. When Rome's civil war erupted between Caesar and Pompey, Cleopatra saw her chance. In 48 BC, Caesar arrived in Alexandria chasing Pompey, only to find that Pompey had already been murdered on Egyptian shores. Cleopatra made her move, not with soldiers, but with silk and strategy. Smuggled into the palace, rolled inside a carpet, she was unwrapped at Caesar's feet like a gift from the gods. He was older than she expected, clever but scarred by war, and furious at Pompey's assassination. Cleopatra offered him something else, legitimacy. She told him privately, "If you want Egypt, you must win it through me." By morning she had his support. By week's end his soldiers were fighting beside hers. The Alexandrian war tore through the city, her brother's forces collapsed, and Ptolemy XIII was found drowned in the Nile, his golden armour dragging him under. Cleopatra was left alone on Egypt's throne, Pharaoh not just in name, but in truth, with the strongest man in the world at her side. In the year 46 before Christ, she travelled to Rome with Caesarion. She arrived in a golden barge, dressed in silk with her child, a possible future heir of Rome. The Senate eyed her with suspicion. Roman wives eyed her with fury, but Cleopatra stood tall, dining with Caesar, advising him on campaigns, and living openly in one of his estates. Whispers spread that Caesar might crown her queen and name Caesarion his heir. Then, on the 15th of March, 44 before Christ, Caesar was stabbed to death beneath Pompey's statue. The Senate floor ran red. Rome fell into chaos. Cleopatra knew Rome too well to linger. She slipped out under the cover of night, sailing back to Alexandria, grieving but unbroken. Back in Egypt she ruled alone again. For a while peace held. The harvests were good. Caesarion grew. But Rome was shifting once more. 2 men fought for Caesar's legacy, Octavian, his adopted son, and Mark Antony, his most loyal general. Well, in 41 BC, Antony summoned Cleopatra to Tarsus. She did not arrive quietly. Wearing purple robes and a golden crown, she sailed up the river on a silver-carved ship, sails billowing like the wings of a goddess, perfumes in the air, music in the wind. She appeared as Isis incarnate, and Antony, always a lover of spectacle, fell instantly. Their affair was swift and consuming. Antony followed her back to Egypt, where they ruled together in lavish splendor. Publicly, they hosted feasts that lasted days. Privately, they shared ambition as much as passion. She bore him twins, then another son. He gave her Cyprus, Phoenicia, and former Roman lands. Together, they declared Caesarion the rightful heir of Caesar. The east was theirs, but in Rome Octavian struck back. He painted them as traitors and foreigners, Antony bewitched, Cleopatra a threat to Rome's purity. The final act came at Actium in 31 BC. Cleopatra and Antony's fleet met Octavian's in battle, but the winds betrayed them. Chaos broke out. Cleopatra fled with her ships. Antony, desperate, followed, abandoning his navy. One by one his legions surrendered. Octavian marched south toward Egypt. In Alexandria, Cleopatra prepared for the worst. She hid her treasures in tombs, built her mausoleum, and filled it with gold, scrolls, and statues. She tried to negotiate, even offering her crown if Caesarion could rule. Octavian offered her life, but only if she abandoned Antony. She refused. Defeated, Antony fell on his sword. Still alive, bleeding, he was carried to Cleopatra's tomb, where he died in her arms. Now, utterly alone, Cleopatra knew what awaited her. Humiliation in chains on display in Rome. She had studied Roman mercy. Dressed in royal robes, surrounded by the relics of her dynasty, she chose her end. At her feet lay jars of poison and legend. She called for the sacred Nile asp. The snake struck. Death came not as punishment, but as freedom. When Octavian found her, Cleopatra was already still. 2 loyal maids lay dead beside her. He ordered her buried with Antony in a secret tomb, lost somewhere beneath Alexandria's sands. Caesarion was captured and executed soon after. For the first time in 3,000 years, Egypt had no pharaoh. It became a Roman province, the jewel of an empire. But Cleopatra never truly disappeared. She lived on in stories, plays, and paintings. To some she was a seductress, to others a genius. But above all she remained what she had always been, a queen. Finally, at the end of the video, thank you for listening, folks. We encourage you to follow the channel and watch future videos. Don't forget to subscribe, like,